But you will say, why are they doing this stuff? Why the fuck are they doing this? Let me demonstrate here. Why the hell are they doing this to Father? And what the hell is going on? Why are they doing this stuff? Pretty decent sized house. Beautiful garden with the riverfront. So what's happening here? Why are they doing this? I'm going to explain to you why they're doing this stuff. I will explain to you exactly why they're doing this stuff. This is all marble. Why are they doing this kind of stuff? You can say, why the fuck are they doing this? I'll say to you why the fuck they're doing. It is a property, small, little, tiny property compared to ours, compared to this big house here. It's quite a big house. I don't know how big this house is, but this is the house that Father built here in this village. And this is the house that Milan Kucan, Borut Pahor, Tanja Fajon, the so-called communists here in Slovenia, but also the people like the neighbors here, Dane Kolens and other people here in the village, they envied how the Father got all this, you know. And he was told, you're not allowed to build house like this. When he started to build the house for the people, from the village, from the communists that were coming here, they said, you're not allowed to build a house like this. This is already one reason why they are doing this kind of stuff. But what are other reasons for this stuff? First of all, why did Father build house like this? He built house like this. He did a really, really good house. He really built a really good house. See, somebody parked the car here, and it's look at the limousine here. I think it's from the Dulce, whatever. Father wanted to make a property as aristocratic as possible because of my case, because of this MK Ultra case. In other words, he invested in this property. But unlike the neighbors, unlike these people here that you see, we didn't have any children. He didn't have any children. He had me and he had my sister. That's all there is. He didn't have 10 children like others had. And to build this house here, he sold our old family house in the middle of the city. He also took a loan, and he also had the mother and Father, both of them worked their entire life. They busted the balls in that pharmaceutical company, which would not even exist without me. Everything was through the London, through United States of America. Medications, market, absolutely everything. And then you have a communist coming to you and saying to you how he dares to do stuff like this. He was also doing his work, part-time work. He was also doing a preparation of the animals. He was also doing gardening. He was also doing hunting and all kinds of stuff, other stuff, to help himself as much as possible financially. So I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. If you want to know why the fuck this is going, what's happening here? This shit here is happening here. When you enter the name Milan Kucan, and it's the same thing with the Borut Pahor, there'll only be the story about his house in the Murgle, how he got the house for free. What they did to my father is more than a communist thing. This is a Slovenian thing. This is a Janez Janša thing. This is a Dmitry Rupel thing. This is a Lojze Peterle thing. This is a sick Slovenian garbage thing. O Sloveniji, Slovencih in zamestju, gospod Milan Kučan. He got, I understand, for free this house in Murgle. I was in fact there when he got himself this house next to Stanovnik. This is the house where I would be frequently delivered to. And this house, compared to our house, really looked like a toilet. And when Milan Kučan stated about his house, he showed off his house, I was not impressed. I didn't want to be impressed with it. And it didn't have nothing to do with any reality. Milan Kučan is an extremely wealthy man. Milan Kučan did not fall out of the dung from the horse or from the asshole. He has his financial past, and very few people have a past as financially as powerful as Milan Kučan. It goes into the old category of people who knew absolutely everything about investments, and not only about where to invest within the special circle of the people, but how to invest. Just like Lojze Peterle, just like Igor Baučar, just like Janez Janša, just like everybody in Slovenia. They all have small house they're going to demonstrate you, every political individual. But behind all this stuff, it's a markets they invested in Asia. The most lucrative markets they invested through the Illuminati circle. And I did talk about that stuff, probably the stuff that is worth about easily over 30, probably close to $50 billion by now. China, India, mutual funds, I'm sure you understand, plus that companies, the way they operate, if I tell you about the Robert Golob, yeah, but if you will go to them, they're going to tell you we don't have nothing. We have few thousand euros on the bank account, maybe 100,000, 150, whatever. And a small house, weekend, whatever there is, apartment, whatever there is. If you buy apartment in Ljubljana, it depends how, but it could be easily much more expensive than this one here. And my father sold house on a prime location in the city when the land here was nothing worth. Consider all this stuff. Yet he was not worth to be alive. This individual, the way they work, this is apprentice from Kučan, with Borut Pahar, with this guy here. They all do the same. They all work. They all function in the same way. But in the public, they are promoted like workers. They are promoted like a worker class. Oh, I have a cows, and I drive the Renault 4, old Renault 4, and maybe I have 1 or 2 new cars and so on. So listen, this is very educational video. This individual here, with this individual here, they learned, for instance, about the solar lights. Solar light panels, public lights, this kind of stuff. They learned from the Germans as first that this is so beneficial and money saving. They started to fuck with this stuff. Sometimes in 99, in 2000, when for the majority people, for 99, things were nowhere even near accessible. But they learned from the Germans that the Germany is going to invest in this stuff in the future. And so if the Germany, which demonstrated them how much beneficial this stuff is on the long term, will invest this stuff in the future, and naturally others will too throughout the Europe, Slovenia will too. And because you have a time, because you know this stuff in advance,
The people that I demonstrated you had ability to build factories for themselves inside of the China. At first, what they did, they searched for the connections through the Chinese communists affiliated themselves, and those they helped them find the best connections with the cheapest price and stuff like this, with idea to outsource. This is just an example I'm giving you. That much about this genius here. He called himself a genius, this Robert Golob. He is into this stuff. That's why I took that as an example. Outsourcing the people from Europe or Slovenia, you cannot compete with such a low cost, especially because they are at the top of the state. They arrange transfer, or I should say import, of the items from China for an extremely low cost, for free, basically, and sell it here through the government contracts. This is just one example I gave you, for a lot of fucking money. The same thing they were doing with the real estate, the same thing with apartment buildings they would go on and build, with all kinds of business they were doing the same scam without public having any ability to control the finances. In fact, they would get the people that would support them from their circles to become their contractors, providing for them direct leads from China and or help them establish companies in China so they could import to Europe and make money. In the world like this, where you have no fucking chance, regardless of how hard you work, unless you affiliate yourself with the communists from Slovenia. In Slovenia, people buy themselves new cars. They are extremely extravagant, trashy with the money. It's a custom to travel to Croatia and throw a lot of money away every fucking year. It's a custom to buy yourself a house in Croatia along the shore. And I estimate Slovenian real estate in Croatia might be as much as $10 billion worth. I did publish the number of number of the owners, of the vacant owners in Croatia that helped themselves with the Croatian real estate. And the number surpassed the number of 80,000. Na Hrvaškem. Koliko? They keep buying the real estate in Croatia, but they say 115,000, but it's more than that. That's a whole lot of money right there. It's probably go to $10 billion in euros worth of money of investment. So you see, the Slovenian people throw the money away on a lot of issues, including on vacation. They buy themselves new cars, expensive cars and stuff like this. So my father never did that stuff. He was buying himself a small Volkswagen Polo. A Renault 4 Yugo is what he had. The old buggy. He had nothing really. He didn't go to vacation. He didn't go anywhere. He did bought himself for fishing and for the hunting stuff, which is really, really for free when compared to all these issues. Yet he was not allowed, because he was told, you're not allowed to have in Slovenia this. You're not allowed because you connected. Why is not allowed? Because of the British royals, because of the castles, because of the money that was involved in this stuff. They wanted to keep Slovenia simple and free, communist as much as possible, worker class basically, and for the rest of it needs to be killed, slaughtered, taken away, and given to the people that are productive for the society, that have degrees, diplomas, etc., etc., etc. It's called ethnic cleansing, extermination. In a very, very short, my father was listed to be murdered by Kuchan because simply he did not fit his profile of the person Kuchan would wanted to have in the picture, opposed to my mother. And when it comes to my mother, you're going to see the companies such as Delo and other companies continue to advertise on a daily basis the death of Borut Pahor's mother. Umrla. Mama Pahor je umrla. This is the news and other news you're going to see on a daily basis. They keep doing this. This happened in 2020. They keep fucking doing on daily fucking basis. If you go here and you go here and 24 hours, it's going to be every fucking day. Like you're about to see. They're going to have to admit this. They were doing this stuff with idea to get rid of my father because it was Robert not Golob, but Pahor with a Tanya Fayon who blew on my soul during MK Ultra to get rid of my father but to keep my mother. And they exampled me what would become in the future the losses of their mothers. It's very questionable if they ever died. The same thing, Fayon, 2021. They all talk about their mothers, they're gonna die. Tanya Fayon and this individual, Borut Pahor. Now, what is interesting when it comes to Pahor, it's on a daily basis they display this. Kuchan not. Because his mother died long time ago. And I want to keep mother on the picture because mother is a bot. She is a robot from Milan Kuchan. So this is the way they do the stuff, and they want people also to feel sorry for them. Thanks for watching this video. This is the city of the Novo Mesto, you know. Plain and simple. This is the house from my father. He was born. And there's a house from grandfather. This is right here. Is this house here. He sold this house and used the money and took the loan, and much of it he did it with his own hands too. A lot of work with his own hands too. And he also got, of course, people to do the job. To build one here in this village here. So this is where he built the house here. This here. And they hated him. They hated him with a passion because of what he did. But nobody wanted to acknowledge what took place. This guy here, Dane Kolens, he stated he could buy himself a much better, much bigger home. I don't know what the fuck he could. But the thing about it is, based on what he have seen went on with my father, with us, what they were doing, these people from Ljubljana, also from the Novo Mesto, such as Gregor Golobic, for instance, he decided he would just remain silent inside of his home and mind his own business. They scared the shit out of the people about building homes the way they wanted for themselves. This is the old house that always was here. This here, this house here grew out of nothing. Simply out of nothing. He was lawyer, she was lawyer, the system provided. He was in the Belgrade every fucking week. With the Serbs associate himself, the system provided. This one here, the system provided. came without nothing. This one here came out of nowhere, just like the other one. The system provided money for the parcel, money for the material, but this man truly was very hard worker, and he built much of the house completely by himself. The same thing, out of nowhere, sold nothing. None of these people sold anything. Built himself a house. Kotar, the same thing. Every one of these people, the same fucking thing. Came out of nowhere, sold nothing. Built themselves new house. The system provided everything for everybody. Here is where the first house commenced. Then is the people that system have chosen to follow. Right behind, they created the whole fucking street. This is the way it is with this ethnic cleansing. This is the way they operate. And then they play with the psychiatry. And then if I would calculate how many houses I myself could build with the job in Slovenia, it probably would amount, with the work, with the way I do the stuff, hard working as I am, I probably would end up building myself 10 houses like this. Literally in Slovenia. Well, how much money was stolen from me from YouTube and everything else without being allowed to use advertisement. The US government made sure that would not be possible, etc., etc. The goal is just to kill you, to get you through psychiatry and fuck you up, basically, cleanse you, so that somebody else can move in. So you see, 99.9999, not even 1 in a billion, would not stand up to this shit. Everyone would let go. But the thing about it is, I'm not like this. I continue with the legacy of my parents and of my grandparents. And for something like this to take place, I never ever allow. I always reclaim and claim and fight back and 100% take down. I will always take you down. I will always take you down and beat you up in the mud. Eventually I will destroy these people. They started to warn me. They started with the ethnic cleansing. They are going to be cleansed in the end. I don't go into the stuff like this for nothing, for no reason. This is more than house. This is where my life have gone into without my even having the right to touch the apple from the tree. This is the house where I was butchered and tortured inside. This is the also house of my grandfather that was sold, that went into this house. And a lot of work from my father and a lot of stress he endured. And this is where he was taken from to die in a total misery at home for elderly people. A little like a garbage. Surrounded by the people who guarantee him all his life. What you have seen in my program is about to happen to him. He was tortured as well during MK Ultra. That's why I will never let go. And one thing about me, I am completely different than other people. I'm not going to claim this. I will reclaim from my enemies whatever they have. For the Slovenia, what Slovenia did is a horrific thing. On daily basis, if you would go, you would only read about Murgle, you would only read about Stanovnik house, about Kuchan house. And when you look at those houses, they look like a shit. And nobody wants to talk about the mutual funds, their investments through Asia, through other countries, and so on. These people get thousands of euros every fucking month in retirement. These people got thousands of euros during their lifetime where they worked as politicians. These people have stolen houses. These people have stolen properties. They were using other people. They were collecting astronomical amounts of money. When Slovenia became independent, they plundered Ljubljanska banka, anywhere from Maribor and other banks, wherever there was a money involved, invested, that was from the society, from the companies, Slovenian companies. They went inside, they demanded from the directors to keep mouth shut and plundered the companies, stole the money that belonged to the state and took it to Asia, Africa, invested in India and China mostly to make a lot of fucking money, like I said. They like to talk about how they had nothing. They throw the money away, which is a Slovenian custom. They take the money, they eat like a swines in their expensive restaurants, buy themselves new cars, they dump the money on vacation, they buy themselves weekends, they buy themselves villas, luxurious, all kinds of stuff around the world. But they want to murder people. They want to kill people that don't see themselves, and I'm not going to say in their communist flag. China should be very aware of this stuff. I don't know, maybe this is against Chinese laws, whatever. Chinese also had problem with this. I don't know, maybe they had a problem with this stuff because they had to exercise solidarity or something like that, but I can't believe that somebody can be so stupid, so dumb, basically. I am 53 years old without a fucking single child. None of these people who had 10 brothers can possibly say any of that.
So this man is buying, totally buying, you know, he wants people to feel sorry for him. Totally is buying. There you go. See that shit? There you go. That's all I needed to do. How the hell is he doing this stuff? How the journalism works? Obviously not too well. I mean, obviously these are very serious problems with the journalism. Obviously the journalism is drawing in corruption, in criminality, in organized crime. How the hell is he so successful at doing this on the internet like this? That's a really good question. Yeah, the same shit, basically. The same stuff. The same stuff. They buy the internet because during MK Ultra, the criminals, the so-called journalists, they would plunder this house, literally. They would move themselves inside of this house, and that's where they would converse with one another. And either one of these people, they told them, you will just do this for me. And in case of this individual here, is this thing here. This is the stuff. So every one of them had a program. Every one of them had a program to remind people on a daily basis, basically, brainwash people. So that when people would go and they would search, they would Google their names, it would be always something that they would use to make people, to make them feel sorry in eyes of the people for them. To make people feel sorry for them. It's always the same shit, the same thing. It's the same thing. The same thing. Every fucking day, the same. This is just something very, very important for me to note, because these are the people behind murder of my father. They wanted me to keep mother, actually, excuse me, of the father. They wanted me to keep mother, but they did not want me to keep father. They wanted to get my father murdered. And that's basically how this is done. This is the stuff that went on all the time, and the people who do bad stuff always do stuff like this. They always do stuff like this so they can't be seen. It's not about only for people to feel sorry for them, but also so they cannot be seen. And for me to finish this recording, I don't have a problem to go through the village and meet katerokoli svinjo iz te vasi tukaj, vasi Krka, katerogakoli prasca tukaj. I don't have no problem doing this here and explain him, because they had so much problem. My father was one of the few first that started this company here. And he was not Andrianic Boris, but he was my father who toured literally people from abroad, from other countries that would come fishing to Slovenia, was taking them on a fishing trip so they could promote this company as much as possible. He created quite a good impression on people. You see this here? This was all stolen, what you see right there. It's called denacionalizacija. That's why I said that any kind of a katerakoli svinja v Sloveniji, če se prikažete pred mano, vam bom povedal v gobec, kako stvari so. Jaz nimam problema z svinjami slovenskimi razložiti, kako in kaj je. Ne? Svinje slovenske. denationalizacija. I'm going to demonstrate you how the communist steals the money. It was called denationalization, and it was a transfer of the public property, public ownership, simply to the private. Yeah, and it could be also vice versa. At the end of the war, they have taken a lot of properties from a lot of wealthy people. They declared themselves as socialists. This is how we lost a lot of property, Krka River and stuff like this. But upon the Slovenian independence, it was different. They gave denationalization, the ability for the people to simply go fucking steal the expensive apartments. This is like where you have the psychiatrist Proxel inside and the company, basically. This is just one building, but pretty much all the apartment buildings came to the point they were giving them for free to the people. Either they will give you the apartment for free, or they will sell you the apartment if you were for so long and so long inside of one for just a symbolic price. So, katerakoli svinja v Sloveniji, lepo prosim, je dobrodošla, se bomo pogovorili, pridite na obisk tukaj v hišo, boste povedali, kako je. Eno stvar vam pa povem, svinje slovenske. Tu vam pa povem, tu vam pa jaz obljubim, tu ni moj oče, tu vam jaz povem, kako bo, ker se tega tukaj gre. They stated to me that the Krka company owes me $1 billion. No, really? I'm gonna sue the fuck out of Slovenia, not for 1 billion, but for 100 billion, for the 10 times of what you owe in the Croatia, so that you will understand and you will respect. It's about the respect. It's about respecting other people's property, other people's life. It's about more than property, it's about respecting people's life. I'm gonna sue the fuck out of you. $100 billion, not for a fucking Krka pharmaceutical. You need to learn the fucking lesson. I don't think there is a better lesson. You know, in Slovenia, they treated me like a bobo, like a dumbo, like a shit. And when it comes to the money, whether you have a Milan Kučan or you have a Janus Janša or you have Baučar or you have all these politicians that you have, they are all on target. Kacin, whoever it is, they all do exactly the way I explained to you in this video. When it comes to the money, they go like this and they are united with one another. The best way to prove the people that you are not bobo to the country is to take one to the court of law, to the law. And instead of what they were making the fun out of you, with the stuff they were doing to you, the way they treated you, the way they talk with me, like in a funny way, is to take the shit out of one, is to take every fucking dime, every fucking penny out of one, leave one broke for dead. Then they fucking respect you. That's what Milan Kučan have done it. That's why he never gonna be bobo, because he's got money in the pocket. It's stolen, but it's a money in the pocket. That's why he's smart. Slovenian side made another big mistake, and I am not accountable for that. I'm not responsible for these things. They opened the gate to the Serbs. They delivered them here as many as they possibly could and gave them properties, sold them things, making them wealthy in comparison with us, and use our money, taxpayers' money, to build the companies in Serbia and in Russia, so they could come back here and rob us more of the money, etc., etc., etc. It's a cycle. But that's what the Slovenian people have decided we'll do. And that does not rationalize that I decided that this is something I wanted. I was always against that. I was always for Slovenia. But Slovenia left me behind for dead, basically.
So you can have it one way, but you cannot have it the other way. That's what I was told. Well, the thing about it is that I don't think Slovenia is going to have it her way anymore. It was for 53 years like this. I was used, but I don't think Slovenia is going to get it again, that is going to get lucky enough to do this. Slovenia has to pay for it. And whatever Slovenia does, that's up to Slovenia. I mean, that's exactly what Milan Kučan did. That's what Golob did. That's what these people did. They robbed the country really good. You see, in Slovenia, the problem is not the lack of money. This is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. The biggest problem in Slovenia is too much money, not the lack of money. They have too much money. If they don't make 10 children, don't worry about it. It's better that way, because they bring Serbs here, Russians here, and so on. Finally, that's the idea about Slovenia. But this is not my idea, and I don't agree with it. Slovenian people agreed with it. I don't agree with it.